this is the central question that I've been wrestling with for the last 20 or so years, right? We don't know the answer to that question, but there are a number of explanations for the DMT experience. First of all, the kind of the orthodox explanation for this is, oh, it's your brain is just making it up. It's a wild cortical fabrication. But that's never made much sense to me, because we know that the brain wasn't dropped to earth ready to kind of construct worlds. The brain evolved to construct the normal waking world as a model of the environment. This is the world your brain knows, has learned, has evolved to construct. It knows how to construct one world model, right? So then you ask the question, well, how is it then possible that when you perturb the brain with this simple plant alkaloid, it suddenly becomes capable of constructing entirely coherent, inordinately complex, hyperdimensional worlds filled with seemingly hyper-intelligent beings? And that is, to me, remains a great mystery, unless somehow the brain is receiving information from somewhere else that's kind of constraining and modulating and informing its construction of this alternate world model. That is why it's such a problem, in my opinion, to explain DMT.
Everybody, when they do DMT, they always experience the same thing. They always experience these extreme geometrical patterns, and they all experience these so-called elves that are dancing around telling them things, like giving them positive messages that are transformative in some aspect or another. Is this pretty much consistent through everyone?
One of Stephen Zara's first subjects described these little dwarf-like beings that moved around very quickly. That's all we got. But to me, this is part of the characteristic of these DMT elves, these very sprightly, lively beings, often very cheerful, and they kind of welcome you into the space, and they love to show you things all the time. Look at this, look at this, look at this. The large gap between their intelligence and this is their world after all that we're kind of entering, if you like. So, and they like to kind of have fun, some of them. So there's a lot of kind of mocking going on sometimes, teasing,
right?
Kind of trickstery kind of behavior with these entities. They like to scare you. So you have to be kind of aware of that. But there's no evidence that they can actually do you any harm, other than giving you a bit of a scare. The fact that the brain can construct these realities, as I've said several times, is in itself confounding. It's remarkable. It suggests that there's some ability there that we weren't aware of. It suggests that I've often described this idea that we have this hyperdimensional heritage. It's a world that's not so much alien, but a world from which we have become alienated. DMT grants us this brief but astonishing glimpse at this remarkable hyperdimensional heritage. We've become alienated from that world. And this is also perhaps why when people take DMT, there is this profound sense of déjà vu and familiarity. Déjà vu, you really get this sense that this is the most fucking bizarre experience I couldn't possibly have imagined. And yet, at the same time, it is intensely familiar. I know this place. I've been here.
Really?
They welcome you back. The lights start flashing. The bells are ringing. There's your name literally in lights. He's returned. We haven't seen you for so long. Terence McKenna used to say, right? It was kind of like that. There's so many people describe that, of being welcomed home in a sense, like we've been away for so very long. Again, if you take these intelligences seriously and you want to establish communication with them, you want to understand them, you want to know where they're from and what's the relationship between us and them, you have to stop treating DMT like a drug. Treat it like a technology. This technology is called target controlled intravenous infusion, TCIV, and it's well established as a technology that's been used for decades in anesthesiology. Okay. And my thought was, well, let's repurpose that. Let's replace the anesthetic drug with DMT. We can develop a mathematical model, the same pharmacokinetic model that's been used for anesthetics, but create it with using the data from DMT. We do take these entities seriously, and I think we need to. I don't think it's simple to explain their presence within the DMT state. I don't think it's simple. I don't think it's easy to simply explain them away as hallucinations or as archetypal structures from the collective unconscious. There seems to be something much more profound going on here. These beings, they have clear intent. When you go into the space, they're waiting for you. They get to work, right? They get to work on you. They're expecting you. They welcome you, and they have an agenda. They have an agenda, and it seems to be far more than your brain just making it up. Your brain doesn't really, in my opinion at least, doesn't seem to have this ability to model these hyper-complex, hyperdimensional realities filled with these beings that bear no relationship to anything in our world. So I think that we need to actually take seriously, and I say this as somebody who is something of a sober neuroscientist. I'm not one of these people who says, oh, it's the spirit world or it's the astral plane. I always avoid that because there's no explanation there for me. If you say, oh, you're going to the astral plane, I mean, well, what's the connection there? How does that work? What's the mechanics? So I'm looking for some kind of coherent explanation for what's going on. And I haven't found it in the orthodox paradigm of modern neuroscience at all. I've read the interpretations. I read the explanations of the DMT state. It's hallucination. That doesn't make sense to me. These are far too complex. They're far too coherent to just be made up by the brain. But at the same time, I don't think that we can explain it in terms of archetypal structures as well. I think there's something completely non-human going on that has no relationship to either modern or ancestral humans. There's nothing in our evolutionary past, our historical past, that can explain why people are seeing these types of non-human, extremely advanced intelligences. So I think we have to start at least entertaining the idea that there's something far, far stranger going on.